In this video, you are going to learn how to solve inequalities very simply and easy. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with quadratic inequalities. So what you need to understand is that whenever you are given a quadratic inequality, you are looking at an equation that is similar, or rather is a parabolic function. Okay, so let's start with maybe our first inequality. Right, let's look at a x squared, all right, and then let's have plus 4x, then plus 3. All right, so, and then let's say maybe we are saying this is greater than 0. All right, is there a way you can solve this simply without making any sort of maybe strange calculation? Yes. All right, and how do you do that? So first thing is find the roots. So do your factorization. Right, so you will do your factorization. Right, in this case, you will check the factors of the x squared and the factors of 3. Okay, so what are the factors of x? Obviously, it's x times x. All right, and the factors of 3 in this case, since you want a middle term of 4, you can almost see that this is going to give us factors of 3 times 1. So if you multiply your x and 1, you are going to get 1x. And if you multiply the other x with the 3, you are going to get your plus 3x. And together they're going to give us the middle term, which is 4x. So that means our factorization factors are ready and are correct. All right, so the ones that are multiplying each other, they must not be in the same bracket. Okay, so x and 3, that x should not be are not multiplying each other, so they will be in the same bracket. So I'm going to have x plus 3, and I'm going to have x plus 1, all right, greater than 0. So what I should realize here is that I found the roots of this quadratic equation. And the roots obviously are, you can see there, the roots are x equal to minus 3, and the other root is x, okay, x equal to minus 1. So how do I do this? So I can see that my quadratic function there, x squared term is a positive, and that means I have a smiley, right? Smiley for positive. I have a smiley graph. Okay, so it means that my parabola function would look something like this. Okay, so it's a smiley. Now that I know it's a smiley, okay, so since I found the root, I'm going to draw only the x-axis across my smiley. Okay, so there's my x-axis. So, all right, so it means that that graph is cutting the x-axis at the values of, one value is a minus 3, and another value there is a minus 1. Now, how do I decide where my inequality lies? Okay, where my solution lies. Right, so the sign says greater than 0. Right, if it says greater than 0, what that means is look for the side where the graph is above the x-axis. So because the x-axis, you know, that's where the value of y is 0. Okay, so it means above the x-axis, that's where you are going to find your solution, right? So someone might ask, okay, where exactly? Okay, it has to be between the line of your graph, right, your smiley, and your x-axis. So, right, so since it says above the x-axis, greater than 0, so I am going to highlight that for you. So that means it's that part, okay? And you can see that part extends all the way to that side, all the way to infinity. And on the other side as well, the part that is above the x, okay, if we follow the graph, it extends all the way up to infinity. And because of this, this is why our solution in this case is going to be x, right? It should be less than -3, and also x should be greater than -1. So that means that's where our solution lies. Okay, we could have been having maybe the same maybe graph, but let's say this time we have x, right, plus 4x, right, plus 3, and then this time we have less than, that must be less than 0. Okay, so we already know how the factorizing goes because we've done the same function up there. So this is going to be x plus 3, right, and x plus 1, right, less than 0. So it means that the roots that we have here are going to be still again be x equals to -3 and x equal to -1. So again, we're going to draw our smiley, okay? Okay, because the x part is positive. So after drawing my smiley, then I'm going to draw my x-axis, right? And then I'm going to draw there, I'm going to have a -3. Okay, one of the roots, it means that's where the graph cuts the x-axis. It's a -1. This time around, I'm looking for where the value is of the graph is less than 0. And that means less than 0 means underneath the x-axis. So that line that I've drawn across the smiley, it means I'm looking for the values where the graph is actually having values that are less than 0. And what are those values? So I need to highlight or shade between the line of the graph and the x-axis, and that's that part, okay? Right, so which means my values of x lie there, okay? In between there, okay? In between there, that's where my values lie. So how will my expression look like for my solution? So it would say, okay, since x is in between, it will be -3, all right, less than x less than -1. It means that the values of my x for that expression to hold, they are actually between -3 and -1. Okay, then what if we had a negative there? Okay, negative x squared. So which means would have had negative x squared, and let's just say maybe, for example, in this case, we are going to put plus, I'm going to put a plus 3x, and then I am going to put a plus 4. Okay, and then I'm going to say, let's say greater than 0. Okay, so factorize this. Obviously, I think by now you will do the factorizing on your own, but this is how it should look like. Okay, it should be your one of the x is going to be a negative, all right? One of the x is going to, and then plus 4, and the other one is going to be a positive x, and then it's going to be a plus 1. Okay. Okay. So obviously we're going to have a positive 4x and a negative x. Okay, which is going to give us a positive 3x there. All right. So that's equal to 0. So again, in this situation, we are going to do what? We are not going to draw a smiley. Okay. So negative for negative emotion. So we're going to draw a sad face. Okay. So we draw a sad face. There we go. And then we do our usual, draw the x-axis across. All right. And then we put our values. Okay. Obviously, our value here is going to be, one is going to be a -1 in the end, and the other one is going to be a plus 4. Okay. All right. So what this is asking us is, where is the graph above the x-axis? Because the sign is a greater than 0 sign, or a greater than sign. So where the graph does that, it's where, right, there we go. So you can see between the line of the graph and the x-axis, I'm shading over there. All right, and that space it tells us that the values of x that we're looking for are in between there. Okay. So if that is the case, then it means that our solution is going to say, right, x, right, is less than, okay, so basically -1 less than x less than +4. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is a very easy way of finding your inequalities solution, solving your quadratic inequalities. I hope this video was useful. If this video was useful, give us a like and subscribe for more videos like this for maths and science for South African syllabus.